Wow, Stannis. You bastard. You bastard. Hi guys, welcome to Nerd Bites, and I'm going to be giving you my spoiler review of episode 9 of season 5 of Game of Thrones. Wow. A lot more happened, and again, awesome, but there's some stuff in it that are quite controversial and quite upsetting. I'm okay with it, but a lot of people weren't, so I'll get into that obviously as we roll on. We start at the Stannis camp. Obviously the Boltons are taking 20 men and just raiding and taking stuff, and that's caused a problem. Obviously rations are going down more and more, and we've got more chemistry going on with Shireen and Davos as well. Davos has been told to go back to Castle Black, get some more horses, get some more food, and obviously they'll be rewarded in that kind of stuff because obviously they're struggling at the moment. Davos has his little moment with Shireen. He gives her like a wooden stag as a toy, and then he goes on his way. The thing I liked about the scene between them two is that she explained to Dance of Dragons the story of Aegon Targaryen and the dragon, the civil war basically, and goes into detail, you know, tells you a good amount of the story, and it was really good to hear that, I suppose, even though we already know it, but just hearing it and having it part of the whole series was good fun. And I've always liked having those two together because it was kind of like a father-daughter type thing. Castle Black, obviously we've got Jon Snow coming back with the wildlings, or what's left of them, and basically he looks up at Sir Alistair, and Alistair's looking down with quite a mean look, and for a second there I'm wondering, is he going to let him in? Because I didn't think he was going to. He had that kind of look, he was like, nah, not letting him in. But he does, he lets the gate through, and then basically they all go through, and the wildlings go off into the rest of Westeros basically. And we get a quick look with Ollie looking pretty pissed off with Jon Snow. Jon's saying it's a bit of a failure of a mission, and Sam's trying to reassure him, basically saying, well, it wasn't a failure because these all people are here. You saved that person and that person and that person. With Arya Stark, we get more develop of the oyster salesman girl that she's basically being, and the building on that. Then she comes across Marin Trant that pulls up on shore with Mr. Tyrell. Basically, he's the guy that ended up killing, or as far as we know, killed her mentor. I think his name's Silvio or something like that, or Sirio. I can't quite remember, but he killed him. Obviously, he's been on her list for a while, wanting him dead. So she starts following around. She starts not doing the job that she's meant to be doing, and starts following him instead. Follows him into a whorehouse where he basically says that all these whores are too young, and he picks a young whore and off he goes. Then she gets kicked out, and that's kind of the end of it. I'm thinking she's trying to build up to the point of where she can kill him, basically. Maybe she can be disguised as a whore or something like that, gets into the room with him and then kills him. I don't know, but I think they're building up to potentially crossing one of her people off her list. In Dawn, obviously with this being a departure from the books, they had to come round to a way of getting Jaime and Bronn back. That obviously happens. They let Jaime and Bronn go, only with Bronn having to get a nice elbow to the face as a consolation. Apart from that, everything's all been forgiven. He gets to take his niece/daughter back with him, along with her new love interest, to make sure that Dawn and the Lannisters and King's Landing all stay connected as and when they need it to be. Obviously in Camp Daenerys, we get the big fighting pit scene. Basically Jorah's back, obviously fighting for her one more time. It's all he wants to do is fight for her and prove that he's loyal to her. So obviously he gets put into the fighting pits where he does really well, and he does win. And we also get his redemption, I think, because he throws a spear and looks like he's aiming for Daenerys and the rest of the group, and actually hits one of the Sons of the Harpies that was about to kill her. Then all the Sons of the Harpies appear, and that's when the massive fight begins, and trying to get her, Tyrion and everybody else out. Obviously it's a bit more of a struggle, and it develops into something else, which I will go into. Two main shockers this week. One of the big shockers, Stannis, you bastard, because you decided to sacrifice your daughter. They had their little talk. She said that she would do anything to help, but didn't know what she was getting herself into, obviously. Then she's guided all the way up to the plinth, and she's tied up screaming, saying, "Daddy, please stop, stop." And even her mum comes out, and they're both just standing there watching, and it's a heart-wrenching thing. And then you've got obviously Melisandre doing her usual thing with the fire and doing all the monologue, and they're just standing there, and he's just got this face of thunder, just saying this has to be done kind of face. And you think, building up to it, is your heart pounding, you think he's going to stop, he's going to stop, he's going to finish it. No, he lets it happen. Even her mum tries to stop it, and she gets stopped from stopping it, and you never see her die, but all you hear is the fire going up and her screaming and writhing in pain, and then suddenly no sound at all because she's dead. And it was horrible to watch, really, because this girl's never done anything wrong, and just the fact that he's so behind what Melisandre is telling him that he's happy to sacrifice his daughter. It was a horrible, rough and difficult scene to watch, but this is what makes Game of Thrones so epic. It's the unknown. It's not knowing that this stuff is going to happen. It was quite horrifying, but again, quite a dramatic scene. Finally this week, going back to Dany, we have an amazing final scene of this episode. It was something I did not expect to happen, and that it did. It was freaking awesome. Basically, the Sons of Harpy start gathering around them, and they basically corner them in, well, basically surround them in the middle of the fighting pits. Daenerys, Tyrion, and everybody. It's Jorah and everybody else, basically, and they're surrounded. They're screwed. They got a few of their warriors around them, but not enough. And she decides to close her eyes because she basically said, right, that's it, gonna die. And then you hear Drogon's roar, and instantly it is like, yes! And he comes down, fire everywhere, just parts them all out. He bites them, he kills them. He gets speared a few times, but you know, he's able to shake it off. Then obviously him and Daenerys have a moment, and they're basically she touches him, and there's just a good like son mother kind of moment there. And then the thing that I didn't expect to happen happened. It was amazing. She got on top of him and said fly, and she flew off with Drogon into the distance, basically. It was an epic scene. It was something I really wasn't expecting. It was so cool to finally see Daenerys just kind of controlling Drogon and also being able to fly with him for the first time. It was so freaking awesome. It was an amazing way to end episode 9. So that's what I thought of episode 9, season 5 of Game of Thrones. Again, I thought it was awesome. Looking forward to the finale. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments, or send me an email. Also, you can find me on the various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, keep it nerdy.